It's Ash from Super Videos, back for another video for The Last of Us. In this video, we'll be talking about why are fans so mad about the HBO adaptation of the game. Is it really that bad? What were fans expecting? So stay tuned, we'll be right back to break this down. Alright, as always, if you're new here and enjoyed the content, subscribe to join our community, smash the like button and press the bell to be notified about new uploads on the channel. So let's talk about The Last of Us TV show adaptation. Why are fans mad? Let's break this down in individual pieces. There's realistically 3 reasons why fans would be this upset about the show. 1, the story. 2, the universe building. And 3, the character adaptations, or more specifically, the casting. As far as the story is concerned, if you, as a Last of Us video game fan, were a fan of the story, you enjoyed it, liked or loved it, you will enjoy the TV adaptation just the same. Because even though the TV adaptation is expanding the story in certain aspects and shining more light on some characters, and giving us a better representation of the story, the main story doesn't change. And if you didn't like the story of The Last of Us Part 1, then why are you even watching the show? So as far as the story is concerned, Last of Us fans will be satisfied, in my own opinion. When it comes to the universe building, it's more or less the same. Now let me clarify. What do I mean by universe building? Universe building is anything and everything from setting up the post-apocalyptic universe, the atmosphere, environment, and structure of a fallen society, to the basic aspect of the monsters themselves, what they look like, and back to what the core of the show is, the horror and the entertainment factor. From everything that we've seen in the trailers, the show is up to par with the video game. The atmosphere is just as immersive and fantastic as the game. The monsters are just as vicious and gnarly as the game. And the world itself is just as brutal and harsh. So in that regard, fans of the game will be more than happy with the TV adaptation. Now before I talk about the last piece, there's another factor that I left out, which is a much bigger topic, and it goes back to whether a video game can be prestige TV. And my simple answer to that is depends on the game and the story. The Last of Us Part 1 has a story that is more prestige than some prestige TV shows out there. The story could have easily been a movie in the first place rather than a game. Now let's talk about the elephant in the room. Is the character adaptation in the TV series and the casting bad? What were fans expecting? It's obviously not a secret that fans were expecting Joel and Tommy specifically to be more like from the game. And by that, I'm obviously referring to the ethnicity of the characters. They were expecting Tommy and Joel to be rough, redneck, white men from the South. The TV adaptation certainly has a flavor of inclusion that fans were not expecting and interested in, which has turned away many fans already before the show even begins. Fans wanted the characters to be like their video game counterpart. What they got instead was an adaptation of those characters. With that said, I honestly feel like fans have judged the show way too early, just by the casting and the trailer, and not by the actual show. In my personal opinion, I have not seen anything to make me feel that the characters will be a bad representation of their video game counterpart. We haven't seen anything to make us feel like Tommy is a way different or bad TV character. As far as Joel is concerned, he looks fine. He looks just as badass as the video game. and Pedro Pascal can certainly pull it off. He's been in similar roles before. His role in The Mandalorian, more specifically. Although, there's two concerns here. One is that based on some reveals, they are making him be a more believable, realistic character, and not quite as tough, superhero-like survivor like the video game. And also, of course, we connected to Joel in the game because we played as him. So it might be sort of difficult to replicate that in the TV show. But still, I feel like the concept of the series isn't about Joel. It's about the story itself. So I don't think that this would be a problem. In the game, the story was centered around Joel and Ellie, but the story was much bigger than the characters themselves. Finally, we get to Ellie. Is Bella Ramsey a bad casting for Ellie? One thing I want to say first is she was involved in a short film where her character was very similar to Ellie. I think the short film is on YouTube. You can go watch it. So that's one thing to keep in mind. She's played that type of role before, and I thought she was fine. I thought that she played it off well, and she was a believable survivor in that universe. Now, the other thing I want to talk about is I simply don't understand fans saying just because Bella Ramsey doesn't look like Ellie from the video game, she'll be terrible. I'll name a few examples of characters in TV and movies that don't look like their counterparts in other mediums like comics or books, but are just as good. Like Rick Grimes from The Walking Dead, Wolverine from the X-Men franchise. I could go on, but you get the point. So the simple fact that TV Ellie looks more mature and older than the video game doesn't mean that she'll be terrible. And if you paid attention, I said looks, not is. Because even though she might look older and more mature, the trailers certainly makes it clear that she'll have the same type of charisma, childish at times behavior, and fun personality as the game. So long story long, I feel like fans are prejudging the character representations early, just by the casting, before they see the performances and let the journey of the story let them decide how they feel, which will be the truth. It won't be judged by bias. One thing that I wanted to also bring up is how much The Last of Us Part 2 and fan outrage over that may be contributing to how fans feel about the show adaptation. It's no secret that The Last of Us Part 2 is often criticized as being too woke, and the story being influenced by this factor. So I wonder if fans would be as judgmental and negative about the TV show if the TV adaptation was revealed and came out before The Last of Us Part 2. Maybe a bit of both. Maybe if fans didn't have the bias stemming from the story and character representations of Part 2 of the video game, they would be more accepting of the show and less prejudgmental. Maybe they would have not bashed the show before it was released. Maybe afterwards, if they still felt the same, they would have been vocal and bashed it, but not before. But what I am really interested in knowing from your feedback in the comments is what were you expecting the show to be? And where has it disappointed based on the trailer? Do you feel like fans are being too harsh on the show? Or do you think that it's warranted? So let me know your thoughts and opinions in the comment section below. If you enjoyed this, smash the like button. If you're new here, subscribe to join our community and press the bell to be notified when I upload on the channel. So that's it for this video. See you next time for another super video.